That song, it says, I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming. Do you remember? Life goes just like that, doesn't it? I'm friggin' 71. How the heck did that happen? Just like that. But do you remember when you were in, I guess by then we were in junior high, and 15, thinking, oh my God, when I turn 16, I can drive. Oh, and it seemed like an eternity to get to 16. Then you get your car and you're driving, and then, when I get to be 18, when I graduate, when I get to be 18, I can vote, I can do this, I can do that. And it seems like that time, because we have these visions of what life is going to be like, that it seems like an eternity. Do you remember that, or was I the only one, right? And it says, counting the ways to where you are, I'm 22 for a moment. Then when we got to 18, 21, then I could go drink, I can drink, I can do this, I can do that. Nobody can tell me what to do. And then he goes on, I'm 33 for a moment. I'm still the man, but you see, I'm a they. Right? About 30, in your 30s, you're married, you have kids, a kid's on the way, babe, a family on my mind. Your life kind of changes at that point. It's like you get the baby, you can't wait, and it's like, oh God, I can't wait till it walks. Or for us women, oh, I can't wait till I'm done breastfeeding. Whatever it is, it's always this. It's always something out there. And I'm 45 for a moment, the sea is high, and I'm heading into a crisis, chasing the years of my life. What happened? I remember being young and hearing my mom or somebody say, oh, he's having his midlife crisis. Buys a sports car and he's driving around, chasing women, cheating on his wife or whatever. There's something about 40 that it's all of a sudden you're here and you look at your life and it's like something is missing. At least I know for myself, that's what it felt like at 40. I had been married 21 years, and I'm looking at my life, and I'm going, what do I want the next 20 to look like? Those went so fast. And so you start, I feel, maybe it happened for other people, but I think that's an average in the 40s. And there's never a wish better than this, when you've only got 100 years to live. Half time goes by, suddenly you're wise, another blink of an eye, 67 is gone. The sun's getting high, we're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment and dying for just another moment, and I'm just dreaming. So think about that. My next slide, please. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit. Heroism doesn't always happen in a burst of glory. Sometimes small triumphs and large hearts change the course of history. And I thought that was so beautiful. And I believe that's what this center is about. We have such large hearts. And I think because we have such large hearts, we have a lot of empathy for what happened in Texas. I haven't heard, Dale shared a little bit with me, but I hadn't heard much about the young man that caused all of us to open our hearts. And I always think about the perpetrator, because I think, what pain must somebody be in that would do something like this? And I think sometimes we do forget that. And so I think that as Holly, what you said today was so beautiful. And I think if we can put ourselves in that, and what is mine to do now? And what is it that is mine to do? And I can't speak for each one of you. I know what mine is to do. And but let us, like Holly said, put ourselves, I remember driving my kids to school in the morning. They went to St. Teresa's in Palm Springs. I lived here in Palm Desert and Sagewood. And I remember that was some of my favorite times, was driving them to school, because I had a captive audience. And I remember during that time was when Love Shack, the song, came out, and our name's Shackelford, so we'd go, Love Shack, baby. We'd be driving in the car, And those were special moments. I loved when I drove them from school and picked them up, because I had them captive for that period of time. So large hearts change the course of history. Let's have those large hearts right here, right now. My next slide, please. So this is what triggered my talk. Live each day as if it's your last, because one day it will be. Right? And I saw that, and I went, wow, that's why I thought, you never know when this is going to be your last day. And so you want to make sure that the people that are in your life, that if you leave this plane right now, they know that you love them and that they were special to you. Don't ever leave somebody with anger or whatever. Even if you're angry, like I said, I would tell my children, I'm going to be angry with you. I use the P word. I'm going to pee off at you sometimes, or frustrated or whatever, but please always remember, I love you. I'm only human. I get frustrated just like everybody else. But live each day as it's your last, because one day it will be. How much time do we waste or don't even think of this time? We have this feeling, oh, it's going to be forever, and then all of a sudden it's over. My next slide. I like this, because this is what my talk is. What are you waiting for? It was like I said, like when you were a teenager, I can't wait till I'm 16. I can't wait till I'm 18. I can't wait till I'm 21. I can't wait till I graduate college. I can't wait till I get married and have a family. And you don't think about the mortgage and the bills and the responsibilities that go with that. So what are you putting off? What are you putting off in your life till next year, or I'll do this when I retire, or whatever? Live each day. Look for all the gems, and look at that beautiful baby over there. Oh my God, bless your hearts. Oh, what a cutie. Look at she. Oh, adorable. She has her whole life ahead of her. And what I was thinking about when I was thinking about that song, about 15 and so forth, and I was thinking about what happened this week, and I feel like, okay, please don't take this one, but I feel like we're in our teens, our country, our nation. You're not going to tell me what to do. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, no, you're not. This is the way it's going to be, and I feel like we're in our teens right now. Our country is. And so maybe that is what's going. So we have to be these loving parents that see this, and what is ours to do? What is ours to do? We have both sides. We have a mental health issue. That's why this happened, that we need to take care of. No, we have a gun issue. Well, what if we have both issues? And how are we going to find the bridge between both issues? And I believe as a country, as humanity, as people, we have it within ourselves, because what we do for one, we do for all. And so we have to see this. We have to know in our hearts, because we're going to send out, we are from quantum physics, we're in this entanglement of thoughts and energy. And right now is our opportunity to create a new reality. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for in our own personal lives? Is there something you think, oh, I can't do? I don't think I'm good enough. Just do it. You don't have, if you want to paint, I like to sing, but I'm not going to torture you. But I can still sing, right? I can belt out a song with the best of you. Just don't put the mic on me. but I still get to enjoy that. I don't need for you to suffer or to enjoy it, but I still get to enjoy it. And so I'm not going to wait to have that perfect voice or whatever. I'm going to sing anyway. My next slide. I got this actually off of Facebook. Reverend Pat Campbell in Canada had this, and I thought this was beautiful, from Ernest Holmes. Illumination will come as man more and more realizes his unity with the whole, and as he constantly endeavors to let the truth operate through him. So that's what this is. We need to remember our unity, our oneness, and let that vision. Maybe you'll come up with a magnificent idea that will solve all what we're going through right now. It's possible. It's more than likely. And so, be open to that. And then I think I have one more. Or is that my last one? That's it? Okay, before I go, because Reverend Dale's I know, a lot to say. Just this morning, I would have made slides. I heard these two quotes from Albert Einstein, which I love. That man was brilliant, but he was also very spiritual. And he said, life is a preparation for the future. And the best preparation for the future is to live as if there was none. Right? This might be your last day. This might be my last day. So what are you going to do to make a difference in your life and touch your heart and touch the hearts of others? And then the last one is, the past is dead. The future is uncertain. The present is all you have. So eat, drink, and be merry. Namaste. Thank you.
I'm going to stand on the floor because I want to be in your energy. I want to be in your energy. I know I'm short, but stand up if you want to see me and you can't. My talk is along the same lines as what Dr. Laura spoke to, but before I begin, I want to talk a little bit about unity. Last night I was watching this really great special on TV about Jews and Broadway, and it's fascinating. And they were talking about how a lot of immigrants from Russia and Germany that were Jewish, they came upon the Broadway scene, and they really were behind the music and the lyrics, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but one thing that came up was the song God Bless America. And I think it was Irving Berlin that wrote God Bless America. Yes, thank you. All right, I remembered. And he was Jewish. And what was interesting in the documentary, they said that people were outraged that America was embracing this beautiful song because it was written by a Jew. And how could a Jew do? A Jew's not American. And there goes all my trauma stuff coming up when I heard that. But then I thought, when I was brought up, I was taught about America being a melting pot, where we all come together with great ideas, great cultural traditions, rituals, just different aspects that bring forth the richness of this country. And that's why I love America. Dr. Laura and I were like kind of looking at each other today with Memorial Day, and we're just going, God, we're in a weird place here as a country, and just the dissonance that can come up at a time like this on Memorial Day. And I reminded myself that I do love America because it is a place of freedom, and the idea of America is extraordinary. What came to be in this world at the time that it came to be is something to be respected. And even though we are where we are right now, I say never forget, remember always where we started and what the idea behind this country is all about, bringing people together from all different nations who want to live here, welcome them, love them, encourage them, listen to what they have to say, listen to what traditions they are bringing, because it builds us all up and makes us a greater country. So that's where I go when I think of America. So on that note, I'm going to talk about midlife crises that Dr. Laura opened the door for. You know, when I was thinking about the various crises that I've had in my life, I must have been midlife about 20 times already. I've had so many. I had one in my late 20s and my late 30s. But my biggest crisis was when I was hitting 50. And when I was hitting 50, and I've always kind of been light with aging and stuff, but when 50 was approaching, something exploded in my head. And all of the what we call race consciousness, or a more easier way to understand that is the cultural beliefs about aging. All of them just came to life in my head. And I thought, this is the end. I'm crossing the threshold. I'm done. I'm history. It's all downhill from here. And bear in mind, I was a practitioner when this happened. And I was doing what I could to walk through it with grace. But man, it was in the background. It was like noise. And I just kept saying to myself, I screwed something up in my life because I'm at 50 and I never had kids, not going to happen now. You know, I didn't achieve this, I didn't achieve that. And I was really in a place within myself. But then one day I came to realize that I'm not my age and I'm not anything that this external world tells me I am, especially ideas about aging, because aging is a privilege. I've come to see it's an absolute privilege. And when we can use our maturity in a way where we can explore new ideas, new ways to be, new things to do in our lives, then we are aging in a way that's conscious, that's powerful, and where we can be who we want to be. And so I came to see that about aging because just like that, I was at 50. And I don't talk much about my age where I am right now, but in a month, I am going to be 60. And just like that, she's 60. And when we were thinking of the talk title, I actually asked Dr. Laura if she would like Just Like That, because any Sex and the City watchers here? All right, so Sex and the City was in the late 90s. It was a great, cute little show about these young women in New York, liberated, being who they are, living big, having fun, being girly, drinking Cosmos. Really great show. And they rebooted it this year, and everybody's gray and looking a little ragged, a little burned out. Some have kids or grown up, and they called the reboot Just Like That. And when I watched that show, Just Like That, I was like going, wow, I'm with these girls. You know, I was with them when they were skirmishing around New York and having fun, and now I'm with them in this new place in life. And time does pass too quickly. I agree with all of you on that. But I want to bring to you the science of mind way of looking at time. Can I have my next slide, please? I'm a big fan of anthropology and Native American culture. And I studied it when I was in college, and I remember being very captivated by the Navajo way of looking at time, because they don't look at time in a linear fashion, right? They look at it as a circular way of being. They don't tell time by the watch or by the calendar. It's really by the heart. And so I found these two quotes on the internet. Many Native American cultures perceive time as being circular rather than linear. There are no definite beginnings or endings, only what is, what always has been, and what always will be. In cyclical time, events will occur and can be revisited. Because of this thought process, the Navajo people place greater importance on relationships and staying until something is completed. And I love this idea because what I have found in my life, this thing with this decade and you're supposed to do this at that, all of that means nothing to me. Does it mean anything to you? What does mean to you? What's meaningful? Relationships, your growth, what you've learned in this life. And that is not predicated by a calendar. It's calibrated by your soul and your spirit and your purpose in life, right? And so for me, what this teaches me is stop getting hung up on the linear. Go to the cyclical. Go to relationships. Go to love. Go to a place where you define your life, not by I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm this age, I'm that age, I'm this. But you're this. That is where to define life. And when we open ourselves up to seeing the richness of our soul and what we're doing here, right? I'm not here to just age. I'm here to be me, right? You're all here to be you. And we have our own timelines that are going on inside of ourselves. For me, I defied all that I was taught to do and be. I trashed the timeline because I felt like it didn't belong to me. And I found my own inner timeline, and I'm so grateful I did that because that's why I'm here today, because I listened to my soul, and I followed what was on my heart to do, not what society tells me to do by age 40, 45, 50, 80. No. I said, what does Dale need to do by age 50? What does Dale need to do by 60? And that works. That works. right? So it's living at this higher level of seeing life beyond these societal definitions and trappings and boxes that don't let our spirits breathe and be who we are. My next slide is by Eckhart Tolle. Time isn't precious at all because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the point that is out of but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. The more you are focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is. And I believe this with all of my heart, because the past is done, the future, God knows what that is. But right now is where life is lived. Right now is where life is lived. And right now you have all the opportunities to choose what works for you. Right now, you can do anything you want to do if you listen to the heart and ask it where it wants to go. And I certainly believe that we live in an infinite field of possibilities, of opportunities. And when we know that, we can go in and dream big and let that infinite quantum field of possibilities come forth by virtue of what we know and love and feel we want to do. And there you have it. There you have it. And this is all about living outside of linear time and living in soul time, right? Soul time is your time. My next slide, please. This is by Ernest Holmes. Spirit is timeless, within which is all time. Creation and experience are eternally going on, but any particular experience is measured by time and has a beginning and an end. And something that I love about our philosophy is the creative that we are, the creative potential and possibilities. And we have our experiences, as this quote tells you. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. We have, how many experiences have we had in one lifetime where there's been a beginning, a middle, and an end? Can you count them? I can't, right? There's been tons of them. Yet we have these stories, these experiences, beginning, middle, end. But as the Beatles say, obla-di, obla-da, life goes on, right? It goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on because we are that creative energy that is endless, timeless, eternal, and we go on and on and on creating, even with all these experiences that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We transcend that and bring forth the next. After this experience ends, the next, because you are creative. We are creative through and through, and there is nothing that we cannot do. It's really, really just about not getting caught up. Just not getting caught up in the barbed wire of time that traps us, that makes us think that I'm stuck there, or I can't, or I'm limited. To see experience and time much differently through the eyes of the soul. To see experience as something that we had because we wanted to have it. And it's done, and now next. What's next? Because there's always a what's next. But I know we can forget about that because the heart gets heavy from certain experiences. But when we can cut ourselves free, get into that creative soil, stir it up, dream big, and let something new be birthed by means of us, then our life does just go on and on without time, without this needs to happen there, by our soul time. That's the gift of our philosophy, and that's the gift of life that you all are, that we all are. So we might have our just like that moments, right? We're going to have them. It's an alarm clock. It's something that wakes us up and says, like Dr. Laura said, if not now, when? You're going to be a skeleton someday. You might as well get busy having fun in this incarnation, right? Get busy, have fun. You know, there's this wonderful quote, Thoreau, he talks about sucking the marrow out of life. Suck the marrow out of life. Every drop of it. Have at it, this life. See what you want to do. See what you want to do and do it. Get out of time and get into the eternality of your beingness that wants to play by means of you. That's a foreshadowing for next month's theme. I'm only going to just drop that there for you. All right, so everybody, let's take a moment and just put our hands on our hearts and just know for ourselves that in this moment right now, let us free ourselves of the constraints of time, of space, and go to a place that we all know it, we all have it, that creative zone, that mind that knows all, that mind that you are, that higher wisdom, the great dreamer that you are. And let's free it today, this day of Memorial Day, of giving homage to those who fought for this country that stands for freedom. To go to that freedom place within ourselves and let it breathe, let it out, let it circulate, let it have its life as us, because today's the day. Today's the day to rise up and be everything that we choose to be, because we can. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Namaste, and thank you for listening to Dr. Laura and I.